Hello. So the question has been asked, what is the difference between a consultation and an interview? Two really different things. And it's important for you as a doula to understand when one is appropriate versus the other. Okay, so I'm going to try to tackle this is just me off the cuff, y'all. I'm going to try to tackle consultations. I haven't done a consultation in a really long time. By the way, my name is Reve Sinclair. I am a birth doula, postpartum doula, placenta encapsulator, certified childbirth educator, and an attorney. And I also do business coaching and doula mentoring. Okay. So I haven't done consultations in a really long time. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, by the way, that I set up my business. But when you're a brand new doula, it is not uncommon for people to get on the phone with you or on a Zoom call. Nowadays, so many people are doing things by video and ask you a ton of doula related questions. And you being kind of new and not seasoned, you really want to answer all the questions. You want to be appealing to them because, of course, you're hoping you get hired. And sometimes that time just gets zapped and taken away. And you feel like, oh my God, it's been 45 minutes. I've answered all these questions. I don't know if they're going to hire me. What the bleep? Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I do to make sure that an interview is an interview and a consultation is a consultation. Because of the way I have my packages set up on my website, people understand what, like, they're looking at the packages and then there are next steps. I guide people very carefully using my website copy for them to learn what to do next. Let me just say this. I don't think that people intend to pick your brain and like turn what is an interview into a consultation because they don't actually know what to expect. And they have a lot of questions and they're like, "Ooh, I have a doula in front of me. Let me ask." They don't realize how inappropriate it is, but we know. So this is why I'm doing the video so you can recognize. And when that's happening, you can steer them in another direction. Okay, so back to the website. When you have your packages out there, maybe you only have like a Facebook page. Wherever you are listing your packages or eliciting interest from potential customers, you want to give them all the next steps. So, one, they see you, they're interested, maybe they saw your video on Facebook or Instagram. What's the next step? Click this link, send me your contact information, and we can set up a interview. Or click this link and I can do a birth planning session, or click this link and I can give you a consultation. There's a couple of options that you can give people. Once they're interested in you, what do you want them to do next? You want them to click, leave their contact information. You want them to do something. Tell them exactly what to do, and you should do some correspondence after they do what you like, after they leave their contact information. You should be corresponding with them. It could be an automatic message or a manual message, like you actually getting involved, but you want to tell them what to expect. All right. So if somebody leaves their information through the electronic contact form on my website, I reply to them and say, "Congratulations. So glad that you reached out to me. I am available for your due date." Now, mind you, my contact form would have given me some information. I will know what services they're looking for. I would know if they're contacting me for birth doula support, postpartum doula support, birth planning session, mentoring, whatever it is. The contact form is going to give me that information, and I'm going to be able to send them a correspondence and address their need and say, yes, I'm available, or no, I'm not. And I'm going to, again, in that email, tell them the next step. So if they click, for example, that they're interested in my birth doula services, what am I going to do? I'm going to say, yes, I'm available in April 2021 to provide you with birth doula support. Here's my scheduling link. Let's set up a time for you to do an interview, for us to have an interview talk. All right. I'm telling them what it is. I'm not telling them that it's a consultation because consultations I charge for. Okay. They are trying to, it sounds like they're trying to figure out if I am a good fit for them. Okay. So it is an interview, it's not a consultation. And that's how I am directing the traffic and directing the time slot. So because they have my scheduling link, they know that they can allot for 1 hour. Sometimes it's 30 minutes. I don't, at this moment, I don't even know what my interview time slot is, but whatever it is, it's prescribed. They can add it to their calendar. They have the Zoom link, the phone number, everything, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, we can get together. Okay. So that's how I avoid people turning what is an interview into a consultation, because it's very clearly communicated that this is an interview. All right. Now, I do have opportunities for people to do a consultation. If they are saying, I am just looking for some advice on how to proceed and manage my birth and blah, 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 then guess what? That's going to be a service that I break out. And maybe I have that as a separate thing that they may want to explore with me on my contact form or on my website. And there's going to be a price point next to it. Okay. Now, the tricky thing is if you do it for free, well, I don't know what to make of that. Okay. Because if you do consultations for free, you are opening yourself up to customers not knowing what are the parameters. Okay. So I guess I'm going to give you the same advice that if you do a free consultation, I would say put a time frame on it. Maybe it says free 15-minute consultation or free 20-minute consultation or free 30-minute consultation. And then what you need to do is to be really clear in all of your written correspondence once it's scheduled that it is 30 minutes free. Maybe there's a charge for any time thereafter. Now you got to be prepared to collect that money. You also want to tell them in consultations, this is what we typically cover. I answer questions, blah, 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 blah. Now, I would also make a distinction for them because they may not know the difference. I would make a distinction about what's a consultation and what's an interview. So maybe you take some time to explain that in your written correspondence as you're scheduling this appointment. Just know that consumers just don't really know the difference between a consultation and an interview. All they know is they want to talk to you. They saw something that you were offering. They were attracted to you in some way and they want to talk further. So I think that it's really important for you as a doula, be clear about what you mean and communicate clearly what they can expect from you. A consultation is a consultation. Maybe they'll consult with you about hospitals. Maybe they'll consult with you about doctors, or maybe they'll consult with you about the difference between a doula and a midwife and things like that. That's general education. Okay. Interviews are not general education. An interview is, what are your skills? What services do you offer? Are we a good fit to work together as a doula? By the time we get to an interview, they should be clear about the difference between a doula and a midwife. That's not necessarily education I'm delving into in a protracted manner in an interview. Does that come up in an interview? Sure. But it's not something that, honestly, if they were on your social media platform or on your website, that is a question that you should be answering in your web copy. So if they read that, they should actually have an answer. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't need clarification, but again, you can clarify and keep it moving. This is not an in-depth study or research project about like the difference between a doula. If the conversation is going in that direction, which you control, but if it's going in that direction, then it is a little bit more of a consult and maybe you need to invoice them. Okay. So I hope I was clear. I hope I covered enough territory on the consultation piece. When it comes to an interview, the way I control interviews, I generally, I explain to them up front when they're scheduling that it's an interview. Again, the scheduling link has a prescribed time, so they know exactly how much time we have. And when we get on the call, I greet them, always asking how they feeling. That's my thing. I always ask new mommies or pregnant people, like, how are they feeling? Because they got a lot of feelings, emotional feelings, and also physical feelings. I do a check-in, which is a way to warm up. So everybody should have a way to warm up. And besides that warm up, then I say, we might chit chat about like how the day is. Maybe there's something unique happening with the weather, whatever. You're going to, sports, something. You're going to like do a little quick connection. And then you're going to move into asking them How do they want to handle the interview? I usually say, so interviews super easy, y'all. So like, let's just take a breath. This is no stress. How do you want to handle it? Do you have questions that you want to ask me first? Do you have your list? Or do you want me to give you my spiel and then maybe I'll answer a bunch of your questions in the midst of that and then we'll go from there? That's literally my line. That's literally what I say. And they choose. Okay. The reason why I do that is because I'm explaining to them, I'm giving them kind of an agenda. All right. I'm telling them either I'm going to tell you about myself or I'm going to hear some of the things that you want to know about me and what you're looking for. Okay. Those are the three things that this conversation is about. It's not a consultation. It's not a free for all. Okay. Now, does that mean that we talk about a few other things in the midst of that? Yes, we do. But I give them kind of the structure. That's how you can control the interview. In addition to the fact that you educated them that it's an interview and you gave a prescribed time frame. Okay. So now they know what the three things that we're going to cover. And it feels like to them, probably they're in control of the interview because I've given them a choice. Either I'm going to start with my spiel or they're going to start. And so I don't mind, but they're not actually in control of the meeting. I am. All right. So now they choose. So maybe they tell me a little bit about themselves, what they're looking for. I'll ask questions because remind you that we're trying to make a connection, right? So they'll say, okay, so what we're looking for is unmedicated vaginal birth. We are, not interested in medicine because of blah, blah, blah. And now in the midst of that, I might say, oh, okay. So naturally, I'm thinking, okay, then they probably are either with a birth center, maybe they're a home birth, maybe they're with a midwife, or they're with an OB that like supports unmedicated, like normal physiologic birth. If so, I might ask them, oh, okay, so who's your provider? Because again, I don't know these people from Adam. So when they tell me, oh, we're with the gathering place with the midwives, all right, makes sense. Check the box. That makes sense. And then I let them go on. And then they might say, hey, oh, so have you worked with them? That might be one of the questions on their list. Oh, yep. I've worked with them, done lots of births with them. This is my relationship with them, blah, blah, blah. And then we kind of go on. Now, that's how I weave in rapport without derailing the conversation. I'm letting them continue on with their questions and kind of getting through all their questions. Now, when they start, it generally is a longer interview. If I start and give my spiel, y'all got it down pat. I really control the time because my spiel is designed to answer a bunch of questions that I know are on the list. By the way, that list that is on Donna's website, I wrote it. So I know all the questions. And if you were trained by Nikia or somebody like that, I know you know the questions too, because she done told you to pull the print down the questions and practice them to get ready for your doula interviews. Okay. All right. So my spiel is really focused. I literally, if I give my spiel, I probably answer 12 of the first questions in that packet. Okay. I literally see families like going through and checking, like, okay, she answered that, answer that, answer that, answer that. I short circuit a lot of like back and forth, which is really boring, really kind of stressful in an interview. So I make it animated. I find a way to tell my story. I tell them how many births I've been at. I tell them the kind of work that I do. I usually tell them how I like my style of practice. I tell them like my, I guess, like doula philosophy. I explain to them like what hospitals I've practiced with or birth centers, and even sometimes the ones that I haven't. I give them a lot of information right away. So then by the time we get to them asking their questions, they'll be like, well, you answered a lot of them. And now they have a sense of my personality and we have a good rapport with one another. Now we can kind of relax and they start to answer or share their desires. And now we're into the comfortable zone, okay? And now I can get to know them as a couple, as a unit, as a family. And now that is my time to figure out if they're a good fit for me. Okay? That's the trick. They're not just interviewing you, you're interviewing them too. but you want to be conscious of the time and you want to make sure that this is a meaningful exchange. Now, when that is all done, they'll say, okay, this was good. Then I say, because I'm actually the one in control of the interview, I say, awesome. So we did it. I think we covered it all. They say, yeah, I think so. And I say, okay, great, cool. So a couple of things. If during the conversation I promised them something like a copy of the book that I wrote a chapter in, nobody told me about that, or if I promised them like a website link, which I do encourage you to give them resources, maybe one or two little ditties that demonstrates to them that you're useful as a doula to them already, even if they don't hire you. I remind them that I will send them XYZ. I tell them what time frame I'm going to do that. And I also give them the next steps, again, because I'm in control. And I say, okay, so here are the next steps. I'm going to send you this, that, a copy of my contract, da, 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 whatever, or proposal for the packages. And what you should do is just take a couple days, take a look at it, and then get back to me. Let me know. You can send me a simple email. Let me know if it's yay or nay. Let me know if you have questions about the content. I'm happy to answer them. And I say, okay, great. It was nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Have a great evening. Goodbye. Click. Okay. That's how you handle interviews, and you don't get dragged down a rabbit hole of what is really a consultation, which you really should be charging for. Okay. So communication, 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 communication in your on whatever platform you're enticing families to come inquire about your services. Be clear about the interview versus a consultation. Be clear if you charge. Be clear about how much time it takes, but also be clear in how you can manage this conversation. Okay, that'll save you all some time, some heartache, and maybe get you out of the free for a consultation, because there ain't no reason for a consultation to be free when you're giving away gems. Yeah, charge. I don't know. Don't do free, y'all. Just don't do it. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to everybody. I look forward to seeing you in the group. Bye.